Brandon Tatum gets into a heated discussion with the trauma-bearing librarian who believes that all women should have complete control over their body during pregnancy. Let's go ahead and hop into this video, watch it, and react to it. I really think that Brandon Tatum did an awesome job at providing good arguments that oppose her beliefs, okay? Before we do this, do me a quick favor. Hit that like button for the YouTube algorithm so that this video can reach more people like yourself. I truly appreciate you guys, and if you're not already subscribed to the channel, go ahead and tap that subscribe button, and let's hop into this video right now.
My question, though, for you is, what is your stance around abortion?
Okay.
Yeah, it is, because let me just preface this by saying I'm 51 years old, okay? I have two beautiful children. I have a 14-year-old and a 6-year-old that I had at 44. Good. My husband and I, after we had our son, we tried for a long time to have a second baby. Mm-hmm. And when I was finally able to have another, to get pregnant again, that child was diagnosed with holoprosencephaly, a lobar holoprosencephaly, meaning that where the fetal brain is supposed to look like a butterfly, her brain looked like a horseshoe. Okay, so I had an abortion at 17 weeks, and I know that the doctors told me if I was able to carry her to term, she would probably be stillborn or only live for a few minutes or a few days at that. I made the choice to terminate that pregnancy, and it infuriates me that there are women and girls all around this nation who are in the same position that I found myself in, or these are women or girls who have been molested by family members, and they're being forced because of their zip code to carry these pregnancies to term. So I want to know, how does this keep America great? Okay. If you're forcing girls and women to have pregnancies that they either do not want, cannot afford, or in my case, you are having children that are born with all kinds of abnormalities.
Abortion is essentially murder. Do you agree with that?
No, I do not.
Killing of the unborn.
No, I do not. I don't.
Well, what is it called? What are you doing to the baby inside of you?
It's not a baby, it's a fetus.
A fetus is a human. A fetus is a baby.
A fetus is a human.
It is a small child.
A fetus.
You can say whatever you want to say. You have 2 children already, right?
I do.
You didn't think it was just a fetus when you wanted the children, correct? They weren't just a fetus. There was a gender reveal. There was an excitement. There was a pregnancy test.
There was a point in the pregnancy when they were fetuses.
Right. There's a pregnancy test that you were excited about. I'm assuming that you and your husband had both children. If not, whoever you had the children with, you were excited. From the time that conception happened to the time that those babies were birthed, you were excited and you believed that they meant something from start to finish. Am I right or am I wrong? I have 2 children. They meant something to me ever since I found out that my wife was pregnant. They meant something to me and they have value.
Okay,
now, I do understand the argument that if your child is deformed, that's a separate argument. However, I believe that you should have the baby and take it to term because not every single situation.
That is your belief.
That's fine.
And
you have a belief too.
And I do.
We disagree on
what
that.
I'm saying, yeah, we can disagree on that, but what I'm saying is your beliefs then should not mandate what other people do with their bodies. There is no law in America.
Voting.
There is no law in America that mandates what men do with their bodies.
Yes, it is.
What law is that, sir?
The draft.
The draft.
Yes.
Okay.
Therefore, the government can control whether or not, well, I'm too old to go to the draft, but some of these young people that are on college campus, the government can tell you, we're going to war and you're going to fight and you're going to die for this country. Okay. They have no choice. They control the male body.
Yeah.
And that's 100% the truth. Imagine all of the young adults just getting out of high school back in the Vietnam War that had to be drafted into the military and go against their will and fight a war that they did not want to fight. And it was catastrophic. I mean, if you look at the history about it, it was just incredibly wrong. The people turned on each other. It was a lot of self-inflicted wounds because they were forced to do this. But they had to do it. The government told them that they had to go to war. So men have not always had the ability to be in control. We still don't have the ability to be totally in control of what the things we decide to do. No one has that ability. And I think that a woman should not have the ability to end the life of another person that they chose to make with someone. Now, as far as the other cases, the cases that are the 0.01%, that one we can talk about. That one can have some flexibility depending on the circumstance. But just choosing to end a life simply because you don't want it or you can't afford it that should never, ever be an option. Ever.
It's to get to determine whether or not the contents of your uterus.
Let's put it in this perspective. Is it fair to your husband, just say the baby was healthy, the perspective of the baby was healthy. Because medical doctors make mistakes all the time. They can say that the baby's going to come out abnormal or something like that, and the baby can be born normal and fine. They make mistakes. So you took a chance on them being right.
No, sir. There was no chance.
Okay, you took a chance on them being
There
right.
was amniocentesis. There was all kinds of. There wasn't a chance.
You took a chance.
There
on
wasn't
them
a
being
chance,
wrong.
sir. There wasn't a chance.
Okay,
there were all kinds of scans. There was there wasn't a chance.
It's still a chance.
It wasn't a chance. It was not a chance.
All of us were fetuses.
At one point, yes, that's a scientific fact. Including that dog was a fetus at one point. Yes, it was a canine fetus. Yes.
Okay.
So what's the point?
What I'm saying is that it's still like the value doesn't change because the baby is born or not. The baby still has the exact same value in the womb as the baby does when it's born.
But this is what I'm
saying,
saying,
that is a fact.
though.
Now let's put it in perspective. Your husband and you both are going to have a healthy baby. Is it fair to your husband that just say that you don't want the baby? That you can go and end the baby's life and your husband has no say?
It is my body.
Is that fair?
It is
but
my
that
body.
is his baby too.
But it's in my body.
Yeah, but it's still his baby.
It's in
his DNA is in your body. That baby has his DNA in your body.
Period.
Is that not fair?
You know what? I was just at the African American History Museum in D.C. No, and I'm gonna get to my point here. And I'm reading about the enslaved in the Low Country. That's where my people are from, the Geechee Gullah part of South Carolina.
Okay.
And I'm reading about like what their lives were like. These are people that had no autonomy and no agency over their body, whether their children were sold from them. What I'm telling you is, it is my body. It is not my husband's body. It is not.
The baby
it is not
in
the
you
rapist's
is not your body.
No, it is my body. It cannot live outside of my body. It is a part of my body. The fetus. I'm talking about the fetus.
That argument doesn't work because when the baby is born, it still can't live without you.
Body.
Can the baby, when it's born, live without you?
The baby, yes.
No, it cannot.
Yes, it can.
How's
Other people
the baby
can
gonna
take care
live?
of the baby. They can give the baby formula. They can do all of that.
Yeah, but it has to. It can't just live on its own.
Well, yeah, some adult, not necessarily me, but some adult has to care for it. See, that is a porous, ridiculous
that's
argument.
Not true.
What I'm saying
the
is,
baby still
up
needs
until the
you.
point of viability,
When is the baby viable?
You know what? I've made my point here.
No. When is the baby viable?
No,
when
sir.
is viability?
I've made my point.
If your point is viability, then you're gonna have to change your point almost every year.
No, I'm not.
I think her point's invalid. I think her point is dangerous. I think her point is selfish. And if I'm being quite frank, I would literally hate to have her as a mother. I would hate it. Because to sound so selfish to say that just because it's your body, you have control over another human being. And at his point, making up, saying like, if you had a healthy baby with your husband, like, does he have any say in what happens to the baby? And for her to just say no because it's her body, that is so disingenuous, and it's alarming to hear a human being say that. Disgusting. Man, that I don't even know what to say. That women like her, man, it sucks that she's a librarian. She should have chose a job where she had no access to children. If she doesn't like children this much, sad.
Yes, you are.
No, I'm not.
Because 50 years ago, a baby could not be born as early as they can be today with modern technology.
Okay.
So was it not viable then and is also viable now and is now viable?
But okay,
the argument, it's a moot point. The bottom line with abortion is that it's selfish.
It's a moot point.
Abortion is selfish.
So you think it was selfish?
It is selfish.
What do I owe my child that is alive then if I give birth to if I give birth to a child that does not have the frontal part of her brain?
So if the baby is diagnosed or to have Down syndrome, should you be able to abort the baby?
No, I'm not talking about Down syndrome.
No, let's say Down syndrome.
No, because
abortion
that's easy.
I'm
talking about A, low bar, holoprosencephaly. Say it with me.
Let's argue.
Low bar, holoprosencephaly.
Are you trying to make a rap now? Okay.
I can.
Let's argue this
point.
point.
No, I'm talking about a child that is not born with the HQ.
Let's agree to this.
With the frontal lobe.
Now let's agree to this.
Let me say this real quick, guys. And part of me feels sorry for her because of what she had to go through with the child. I don't think that she wanted to do what she did with the child, considering what was going on with his prefrontal cortex, his or her, don't know which sex it was. But I feel bad for her because no parent should have to make that decision, or you don't want to. That's a very tough decision to make. And so I do feel bad for her. I believe that she's holding on to a lot of trauma because of that. And I think that her stance on it is depending on that trauma and the past experiences that she had with this, and also other factors. But I just want to say that part. I do feel sorry for her about what she went through, but she's wrong on the fact that women should be able to just choose if they decide that they want to have a baby or not. Because if that's the case, then why can men not choose if they decide that they want to be able to take care of the baby or not? Why do we have to be forced to take care of a baby that a woman wants, but we don't have any say on a baby that the woman doesn't want? How is that fair? It's not.
I'm talking about catastrophic.
Can we agree on
I'm not
this?
talking about Down syndrome.
Let's do that. Let's agree.
Okay, so go ahead.
Let's
Talk about A lobar
can I speak?
holopropencephaly.
Let's agree.
Go ahead.
Let's agree real quick. Let's say that every child that is born with that disability, which
A
means
lobar
that
holopropencephaly.
which I haven't researched it, but let's assume that they may be stillborn when they're born.
Okay.
Let's just stick to that one. Every woman who has that condition can have an abortion, and no other women can have abortions. Would you agree to that?
No, I would not.
So then what are the other women doing?
I believe
So
that
you
any
get to
woman,
bump and grind and pump and sweat with no consequences. Is that what you're saying?
But every woman who pumps and grinds, there are women where it was forced upon them.
Okay,
It was girls where it was
eliminate.
forced
Okay, let's
upon
say
them.
that those women, we agree that they're exempt.
No.
But everybody else no abortion.
No.
Why?
Any woman, any girl,
for any reason,
who
can kill their
decides
baby.
that they want to have an abortion
For
should
any
be
reason.
allowed to do
That's
that.
insane.
That reason is her business.
No, it's not.
It is her business. It is not your
Let me
business.
tell
It
you
is
how-
not my business.
let me tell you how
it
you
is
can-
her business.
Let's do some math.
Period.
Let's
Now
do
you
some-
know what I got to do?
Let's do
I got to
some
go.
math.
No, because I'm a librarian. I got to go and do a librarian thing right now. So peace.
I think Brandon Tatum provided some great arguments during this discussion. I also believe that the librarian was specifically leaning into her emotions during this entire discussion to the point where she cannot even understand or she couldn't even agree with factual information or information that made great sense. And this just reminds me of 2 Timothy 3 about people in their hearts growing cold and they become lovers of themselves and selfish, and they become disobedient to their parents, and just so much negativity in these last days. I believe that is describing us today. And it's up to us as Christians and as children of God to be able to combat that with understanding and obeying the commandments of Jesus Christ, including the commandments of loving our neighbors as ourselves, including our little neighbors. All right, guys, let me know what you think about this video in the comment section, okay? If you're new to the channel and you like what you see, I encourage you to hit that subscribe button and hit the post notification bell so you do not miss another video. My name's Aaron Page. I'll catch y'all on the next video. Until next time, I'm out.